Welcome to the Natural History Cupboard. Come on in.
And welcome back to the Natural History Cupboard podcast, the place where the weird and wonderful parts of the natural world come together. I'm your host, Gareth, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Erin. Erin, say hi.
Hi.
Right, well, what have you been up to? What have you been doing?
I've not done a lot of actually like going out to do things, but I have managed, and I've got some footage.
Cool.
I have managed to do a little bit of fish observing in the local
Okay.
river.
Yeah, I wonder where that was going.
I've done a little bit of bat observing
Nice.
near the local river, and I've also been watching some red deer. And I've got some footage, I think, of all three, which I will play in the background as we're kind of talking.
All in the same.
No.
Right, I was going to say.
Wouldn't it be cool if it was like, like
a red deer
bats
wanders into the
flying
river,
across
stabs some fish, and walks past some bats.
So yeah, it's been a good wildlife week, but it's not been stuff that I've not been actively gone out to do anything. It's just that I've been out walking or just enjoying myself or enjoying time with my my family. It was mine and Atta's 7th anniversary this weekend, so we spent some time together, and we've just been lucky that we've been in the right place at the right time this week. I've been spending a lot of time looking at grasshoppers. Do you remember last week I said that I've been introducing?
You've been looking for that one pink one.
We've been introducing my daughter to grasshoppers, getting her into the natural world a bit more and stuff, and she's really keen on it. She's a bit upset today because she saw that someone had cut the grass, and we couldn't find any grasshoppers. But then
they'll come back.
They started to come out from underneath. So yeah, she was quite happy then. But yeah, like I mean, spotting the grasshoppers and all this other stuff has been really, really, really cool.
You know, the best way to like try and find insects like that in any long grass, get yourself a nice white bucket and just scoop it through the grass, and you'll end up with basically, anything that's sitting on that grass just gets flung into the back of your bucket. But you've then got it in a nice, easy to spot, like an ice cream tub will do it. You can do the exact same thing. Obviously, anything flying will just fly away, but stuff like grasshoppers and any sort of leaf bug or anything that's on the thing will just sort of have fallen into the tub, and you can get a good look.
I'll give that a go.
I used to do it all the time with the buckets from the carnival section when I was out in the after I'd gone and fed things and I had the empty buckets, especially the white one that you had. I used to just swing that through the long grass on my way back up towards the kitchen, just see what I'd catch.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
In fact, one of the best things about any part of that section was any leftover meat that the animals hadn't eaten. Not in our kitchen, but in the enclosure that we just hadn't got to because it had been there for like a day. And you'd find burying beetles and all these sort of carrion beetles that would turn up pretty quickly, especially when the lions or the wolves hadn't eaten all of it there and then. Yeah. You'd come to it the next day to clean it up, and you sort of scooped it up a bit, and there'd be sextant beetles and burying beetles and all these ones that basically clean up in the environment.
I saw oh, you're gonna hate me for this, Gareth. I'm really sorry, but I can't remember its actual name, nor its scientific name,
or even what it looks like.
No, it's what you call a rain beetle. What people
a May bug?
There's a superstition where if you step on this type of beetle, you'll cause it to rain for 40 days.
Oh, like a lightning bug sort of thing.
It's not a lightning bug. It's a little black beetle. Doesn't as far
a door beetle? Like a tongue beetle.
I'm gonna have to Google it. But I've seen a couple of those out in the garden whilst I've been shifting the gravel up onto the patio area. So they're always really cool to see. So that's been nice. I tell you what, actually, Gareth doesn't know this because I never got myself organized enough to do this, unfortunately. But we're actually recording this on international. Is it National International Video Game Day?
Is it?
Yeah, and I was supposed to to message you on on Saturday to see if you wanted to do an ad lib episode in as a special this week, streaming Path of Titans together.
How the heck would we do that?
Well, I've looked into it a little bit, but so basically we would record the episode. We'd do micro creature features on the species that we come across, whilst probably being killed by those species. But I never got my act together to finish looking up about it or even message you about
Well,
it.
maybe this time next year. About that.
Yeah, it's but it'll be good. It would have been good fun. But yeah, maybe we can do it as an extra for the Patreons.
Well, it's funny you say that. That's what I've been doing with my week, because you just had to go and have an anniversary. Ugh. Yeah, you missed out on our Patreon exclusive, where we basically had a games night. So something that we've been trialing and looking forward to doing in the future, especially on our YouTube channel now, is we're going to do some live streams. Just doing like random out of the box sort of things. I bought a Lego set, which I was going to build for the live stream, but then we decided to do a board game called Wings, something like that. Wingspan. That's it.
It was a Wingspan.
Which is a really good board game, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
It's not
fun.
one I've ever played, so
it takes a little bit to get into it. But it's I'll tell you what, if anything, it's worth it just for the different species of birds. If you like birds, it's one of those things that you spend more time going, oh, I like that bird. Okay, I'll have that one instead. Nothing to do with how the game's working. You're just like, no, I'm going to choose that bird because I like that one. I would have won if my Canada goose had been a bit stronger, but unfortunately, Drew seemed to be Drew played it like loads of times, so
of course
he was able to romp to victory. I thought my Canada goose had got it. And I even had a turkey as well. And it's like, oh yeah, got some good birds here in this hand. So yeah, we played that. We're looking forward to doing the sort of same thing again. Like I said, we were going to build like nature themed Lego sets. I ended up getting one that was an absolute bargain. It was the Jurassic Park scene with the pile of Triceratops poo.
Yeah.
The Triceratops and the Ford Explorer.
That's the bit that I liked the most, was the Ford Explorer.
Well, it's quite a nice little model. And I've quite happily built that and just kept it to myself, actually. So I may take it apart and build it for something like that in the future.
Somewhere in the loft at my mum's house, or somewhere in the property of my mum's house. And Mum, if you're listening, I want it at some point. Is the actual original Jurassic Park Ford Explorer, I suppose it's Hasbro toy.
Yeah, the toy
with the bonnet that breaks off, and I mean it's missing a wheel because of all the wear and tear.
The wheels weren't meant to come off that.
No, it wasn't meant to. But it's really nice. I love that Ford Explorer, the green with the red stripes and stuff. Very cool.
But keep an eye on what we do on our social media and that, because we will be doing some more of these for everyone to join in on. Yeah, it was a good test to basically see if it worked, and our sort of setup and that for it. We've sort of identified issues. There wasn't too many, thankfully. And yeah, we're going to look to do that in the future. So expect to see some live streams coming up with a slightly different theme of what we'd normally do for the show. So a bit of something different. But apart from that, I've just showed you on my phone, and I'll bring up the picture behind me, as to what this is. So did you guess what this creature is that has spent a couple of hours with me?
Yeah, I did.
This was over the weekend as well, and went just before Drew and Jess turned up to do the live stream.
Okay, so I wasn't the only one that missed out.
Yeah, they missed out on seeing it by like 10-15 minutes.
Right.
Annoyingly. So, do you want to take a guess at what that animal is?
Oh, I'm allowed to give it away, am I?
Yeah.
Well, it was a puffin chick.
Yes, which is known as a...
I think it's a puffling.
Puffling. Yeah.
That was a good guess, wasn't it?
So I'm looking after those herring gulls at the moment. They're getting bigger and stronger, and soon will be ready to go.
Yeah.
But my wife also ended up bringing home a puffling the other day that had crash landed and was just sort of exhausted. So because we didn't have a setup to deal with it, we called someone who was more of a specialist to be able to take it and just give it that little bit of extra feeding it up and getting it ready to re-release. They asked what name I'd like to call it, so I went with the very inventive name of Lundy.
I like it. I like it. Lundy
So,
is the old Norse word for puffin, so that makes my
so it's a puffin called Puffin.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully Lundy the Puffin or Puffin the Puffin will soon go back to Puffin Island.
That's so cool. That is so cool.
One of these days I'm going to make it out to living Lundy. Still never been there. Need to go there.
I'm not 100% sure, but we might have a new arrival here this week. But I'll show you next week.
No.
You do know. You just don't realise you know.
Oh, I know what this is. Right, fair enough. Not a puffin.
No, it's not a puffin. And actually... Oh, I'm conflicted. I was about to say it's not as cool as a puffin. Oh, I don't know. Puffins are pretty cool.
Puffins are pretty cool.
Yeah, puffins are cooler. Yeah, I've decided puffins are cooler. But yeah, well, I'll introduce that next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should move into our news for this week.
Yeah. So that was very keen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the news!
Right, well, we're into this week's news. Aaron, take it away.
Every week, the weird and wonderful world of natural history offers up an embarrassment of riches when it comes to news and interesting stories. And though we here at the Natural History Cupboard are obviously a small team, it is our aim to bring you guys up to speed on the good, the odd, and the exciting. So let's open up the Natural History Cupboard newsreel and dive on into some of the more interesting headlines.
Start things off. I have got one from the Guardian, and this is the ACT, which is the Australian Capital Territory, which is where the capital of Australia is. For most people, the capital of Australia is Sydney, but in fact, the actual capital of Australia is Canberra, which is in the ACT. Anyway, just a random side shoot there. But this is the ACT moving to protect dingoes after a genetic study of the animals in the Namadgi National Park has taken the steps to recognize the dingoes as a distinct species in need of protection after DNA evidence has found a population of up to 400 pure dingo in the national park. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's opened some interesting research in I'd say dingo conservation, because it's controversial, if anyway.
I joked to you when we were talking about it, I joked to you saying, well, a pure dingo, is that not just a wolf? But that's if you go back a long time. So my one comes to us from fizz.org. I love using that site. That's a good site. Sometimes it can be a bit heavy, but yeah. Everybody needs good neighbors. I'm not going to sing that. Okay. So resident quolls help newcomers settle in at Mulligan's Flat Sanctuary. This is really cool. GPS collars fitted to recently reintroduced eastern quoll.
Nice.
Show that the newest residents of Mulligan's Flat Woodland Sanctuary are receiving a warm welcome indeed. The quolls, reintroduced in 2016, were part of a study that is just now yielding some wonderful results, including the discovery that pre-established the resident eastern quolls are actually welcoming these new ones to such an extent that despite being solitary, they are allowing them to share their dens with them.
They're just going having a barbecue, saying, come on in, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Also from fizz.org, this is a fossil showing a huge salamander-like predator with sharp fangs, and they are pretty big sharp fangs, that existed before the dinosaurs. This is just the way it's written, it has to be read like that. So this is a new fossil uncovered in Namibia of a giant salamander. I mean, it's basically got a huge head, really long sort of body, and quite dinky little arms. This thing would have basically been moving around in quite aquatic habitats and it's a chunky size thing as well. It's about 2 feet long, 60 centimeters, and the quote for it is, it acted like an aggressive stapler," said Michael Coates, the biology at the University of Chicago, who was involved on the work. So
Wow.
it's an aggressive stapler.
Isn't that an image? So this next one comes to us from Live Science, and again, I think it's a pretty good news topic. Ants perform life-saving operations, the only animal other than humans known to do so. A study published in the journal Current Biology saw researchers observing ants of the species Camponotus floridanus spot limb wounds on their nest mates and take action to remedy them. The Floridian, I don't know why I'm having difficulty with this,
That's the easier word.
the Floridian carpenter ant were noted to have cleaned wounds to the limbs of their nestmates that could be saved, and where the limbs couldn't be saved, they performed intricate amputations, and in doing so saved lives.
Damn it, Jim, I'm an ant, not a doctor.
One ant at a time.
I just want to see all medical dramas remade with ants now.
Yes, yes.
House ant. Grey's Anatomy ant.
Dr. Carpenter, he's going to lose his leg. Not if I can help it.
There you go. That's actually, it's a new pitch for a TV show. Ant MD.
Yes.
And it's just a tiny little ant in a normal human-sized hospital.
A-Ant-E.
Yeah. I like it. Okay, so from BBC News, rare snow leopards born in conservation triumph. This is wonderful news for two reasons. It's a zoo I used to work at, and also an animal that I absolutely love as well. So rare snow leopards cubs have been born at the Welsh Mountain Zoo, marking a success of the conservation of the species, which is at risk of extinction in the wild. The cub, which was not yet been named, is the first to be born at the Welsh Mountain Zoo in Colwyn Bay in a decade. And yeah, they've had snow leopards since when I worked there years ago, but they've got the newest snow leopard enclosure there, which is really nice. If you want to go to a zoo that has got one of the most stunning backdrops of any zoo in the world, that is the one to go to, because you can see the mountains up behind you of Warrah and the valley itself stretching out as well. It's a stunning place to go to.
It is, and they've got a telescope or two dotted around.
Yeah,
for you
so you
to
can look out.
Look
at the A55. Look towards Llandudno in the distance. Oh, yeah,
it's very nice too, I think. Yeah. So my final article for the headlines comes to us from Sky News, and this is a bit of a clickbait article, I say, but it's interesting nonetheless. Hippopotamuses can become airborne for substantial periods of time, researchers discover. Just kind of temper your expectation of airborne and substantial. So just to remind everyone, hippos are said to weigh anywhere between 1.4 to 5 tons. We all good with that, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so these behemoths can actually fly. I added that bit in just for dramatic effect. In a manner of speaking. A research team from the Royal Veterinary College found that hippos, when moving at speed, do so exclusively through what we call a trot. Excuse me.
Is this underwater?
No.
Okay.
This is on land. Now, if you know about horses trotting, it's very much the same thing. At certain points during the trot, all 4 feet are off the ground, and so the body is not in contact with earth at that point. Yes. So, in doing so, there are parts of the hippo's locomotion where not a single point of it is in contact with the ground too.
Okay.
Because it's a trot. And that point, for the common hippo at least, lasts an impressive 0.3 seconds, which may not sound like much, but
it really does.
0.3 seconds is a long time to be airborne, in quotation marks, for such a weighty beast. And the study is the first to look at, this is the reason why I chose it really, it's the first study that actually looks at the hippo locomotion and hippo gait, and that's important because
Yeah.
it's gonna help conservation of the animal both in the wild and in captivity.
I mean, by that metric, you could say that most things fly.
Well, yeah, when I
can
originally wrote this
fly.
down, I was going to mention cheetahs, but that would be cheating.
I mean, ostriches can fly as well by this same metric as well.
Do you know, I can't remember what the actual measurement is, but when cheetahs are at full pelt, they cover meters before they touch the floor again.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh, and that just about wraps it up for this week's installment of the Natural History Cupboard newsreel. Guys, if there are news articles or topics of interest to you that you think we should cover here in the newsreel or in the main subjects, send them in. You can use any of the normal ways of contacting us, whether that be through the social media channels, through Patreon, through the emails, or by sending it via Hippopotamus Airways, and you might just see it covered by us. And with that said, we'll move on into the main topic of discussion. Gareth, what have you got for us?
Well, how long ago was it, Aaron, that we had a random conversation with some lovely people at Prague Zoo?
Oh, yes, that was that last year or the year before?
It was last year, yeah. I can't remember exactly
when. Do you know what?
I
think it was around this time of year, maybe a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Well, the reason we had that conversation with Prague Zoo was because of their pangolins. One of the coolest animals on the planet.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, unfortunately, one of the rarest. We were able to have a conversation with them about their brand new baby pangolin. And in fact, I think that was one of the first things that we actually put up on our YouTube channel.
It was one of the first videos, yeah.
So, well, I'm going to obviously put bits of that up whilst we're talking.
We should link it, yeah, for sure.
But it will certainly be something to go and watch after this one. But they've done it again. Just a couple of weeks ago, in fact, on the 28th of June, yeah, on the 28th of June, they've had another pangolin baby born. So another pango pup, which is the name for a baby pangolin. So after Siska, the first Chinese pangolin to be born in Europe, Prague Zoo is once again rejoicing with another pango pup, which is born on Monday. It weighs 141 grams without its umbilical cord, and its parents are again the female Run Hu Tang and the male Guao Bao. I probably pronounced that wrong. But yeah, basically the director of Prague Zoo has said that the second European pangolin being born 5 days later than expected. The dates are calculated following the experience of the birth with Siska. And if you remember back to when we did interview them, I believe they did say there was some issue with trying to exactly pin down when they reckon it was going to give birth.
Yeah, I remember.
So they basically were watching this pangolin and had a bit more experience with it. This is in line with the fact that it weighs a bit more. If you remember, the previous one weighed a bit less than they were expecting. It was more active and it was trying to suckle by its mother's milk. However, there is a likelihood that it will have to be fed artificially, as was with the case with Siska. And it's probably just a thing to be able to keep a closer eye on a very endangered species.
Yeah, right.
But it's been called by lots of different people in the zoo community a living pine cone. And the picture basically makes it look like a little living pine cone. They are gorgeous little things. And it's really good to see that an animal that is so heavily threatened with hunting for all sorts of utterly ridiculous reasons in its range is doing better, and we're doing better in zoos to be able to increase their numbers. If anything, every good zoo in the world should be breeding pangolin.
Yeah,
to increase their numbers massively. Just if anything, to get their cute little faces out there and get people more interested. To be honest, they have increased in popularity in the last 5-10 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think one of the Kung Fu Panda films, there's a pangolin in that. I can't remember which one. I'm
Maybe,
sure there's a
maybe.
pangolin in one of them. That does wonders. That all rightish version of the Jungle
I
Book.
knew you were going to say that. I love that
It's
version.
it's all right. I'm hesitant.
You don't like the whole water truce thing though, do you?
No. I don't mind that.
Oh,
The thing that I don't like a lot of those with those animations is it's done for the sake of doing it. But the fact they
yes.
included a pangolin in it, I really liked. There was also like a mouse deer and
Yeah,
lots
there
of
was.
other very random animals that were not obviously present in the original animated one and looked more like they should. But the fact that pangolins are more mainstream in people's ideas of what what an animal is, hopefully will help to push more people to want to conserve them. The thing that needs to be done is push people to conserve them in their native range and try and stop this illegal poaching and everything. But efforts like Prague Zoos show that good zoos are doing anything and everything they can to make sure that those animals are thriving and surviving.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We'll have to send Philip a message to say congratulations to the team again.
Well, if there's anyone from Prague Zoo watching, congratulations with your new living pine cone. It is very cute. But yeah, that's pretty much news article for this week.
Yeah, but don't think there's much else to say.
So, well, should we head on into our creature feature?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's the creature feature.
Right, well, we're into this week's creature feature. Aaron, what are we looking at?
So this week our creature feature is such an evolutionary oddity. I've named it a charismatic chimera.
Fair enough.
Because it's one of those things that you actually have to see with your own eyes to believe, really.
Yeah.
In maybe not quite as a wild a way as or crazy way as an okapi, but definitely on the same level as what on earth, like how did evolution come up with that? How did it slap these animals together into this one being? But yeah, before we get into that, how about we look at the weird ways in which this animal is known? So we start off with its name. Its common name, at least for people in most Western countries, would be maned wolf.
Yeah,
which is it's a fantastic species, and we'll get onto it in a minute. But it's actually carried many names and nicknames through its coexistence with humans. And we'll go through a little selection of them. So, despite being called a maned wolf, I think it might be obvious to say that it is not a wolf. Yeah, shock horror. So it's not a wolf, despite the fact that it's called a wolf, and there are some.
but all
wolfish
dogs that are
elements of it.
wild are wolves.
Yes, of course, of course. It's a little bit in that respect. It's a little bit like the snow leopard in that a human has gone. That looks like a wolf, and it's got a mane. Snow leopard. It looks like a leopard, and it lives in snow.
It might have been his main wolf. He had other wolves, but that was
true.
his main wolf.
That's true. But have you ever heard of a fox on stilts?
Yes, that's basically what I call them.
Yeah, that's another pretty common, at least nickname for them. But again, it's not a fox.
No.
They've done genetic studies. They've done studies into the chromosomes, and they've proven it was a wolf. So no, this test shows it's not a wolf. Well, it looks a little bit like a fox. We'll get into that in a minute. Well, no, it's not a fox either. Similarly, other languages actually draw comparisons to the wolf and the fox too. So, a couple that I've got here. The Guarani language names it Aguara Guasu, which means large fox.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then you've got Lobo Guara in Portuguese and Lobo de Crin, Lobo de los Esteros, or Lobo Colorado in Spanish, all allude with the word lobo to wolf.
Yeah.
So yeah. In fact, the closest we actually get to seeing the animal through its name comes in the form of in the form of maned in English, or guara or aguara. from the Tupi-Guarani Aguara, which refers to the mane by translating as by the fuzz. By the fuzz.
By the fuzz.
Yeah, like very like He-Man-esque. By the power of fuzz. Yeah. The Latin name is also pretty accurately descriptive. Do you know the Latin name for Maine wolf?
No.
It's a bit of an odd one.
No, I honestly has never occurred to me.
All right, I'll let you know what it is, and then we'll see if Gareth can
Oh, see
translate
if I
it.
can translate.
Yeah, so it's Chrysocyon Brachyurus.
Chryso. This is not Welsh, is it? It's Croeso.
No.
It's the welcome wolf.
Do
Um,
you want to know how that's spelled? If that would help.
do you know what? I can't. I'm gonna say that the brachy bit is arms,
Okay.
because that would probably be long-legged. The brachy. What was it? Brachy.
Brachyurus.
Yeah, long legs or long arms.
Okay.
The first bit,
I know
I'm
why you're
alluding
going
in
that way because brachiators, and I believe
chest.
the largibbon has brachiate in its
and
Latin name.
well, and Brachiosaurus meaning arm lizard.
Brachiosaurus, yeah, that's a good
So
point.
brachy in there's two meanings for brachy. As in brachy for Greek, I believe, is arm, whereas brachy in Latin is a totally different word, which I can't remember, but might be something different. I don't know. Go on.
Okay, I'll put you out of your misery. So, Chrysocyon, did I say that right?
Scion.
Yeah,
Oh, hang on. Dog. Scion is dog.
Oh, we got part of it, yeah.
Because that's from raccoon, procyon, lotor. So
well done.
I want to say cry meaning frozen, but that's cryo. So
spelt slightly differently.
Yeah.
As well.
No, go on.
Okay, so you got it right. Scion is dog. So Chryso is
Welsh for hello.
Chrysocyon means golden dog, and
Ah.
Brachyurus means short tail. So it's literally the golden dog with the short tail.
That's a rubbish description of it.
It's, well,
let's look at the features of this long-legged dog with a mane on its back. No, forget all that.
We'll talk
kind of
about
golden color and it's got a short tail.
Yeah, no, I see your point. Yeah, but at least it tells you that it's a goldish color.
Yeah,
actually,
and there you go.
Bengals are kind of golden rust color.
That's the other meaning for brachy, as in brachycephalic, meaning short. So if you've got a pug or a French bulldog or any kind of bulldog, their skull is brachycephalic, which means it's short. Normal dog is
that's right.
Mesocephalic, and then the long sort of whippet is. Oh God, that's going to annoy me now. Dollocephalic. There you go.
Well done. Well done. You've made up for the fact that you didn't get the other two parts.
I just have to give it a bit of time, but like I say, it was the other meaning of brachy.
Yes.
But logically, in my mind, it would be about the long arms, not the fact that it has a short tail.
Yeah, no, I would have gone down the same route originally. And I only found out that it meant short tail when I was doing this. I knew what Chrysocyon was.
Yeah.
I'd always assumed that it would be something to do with the long legs, brachy, but
and now the crisis bit is making sense. Golden eagle.
Yeah. So we now know that it's a fox-like wolfish canid with a mane, and that it's kind of rusty golden color, has long legs and a short tail.
Definitely orange.
It is orange, yeah. And we'll look at this appearance shortly, but first we must ask, if it's not a fox or a wolf, what the heck is it? So do you know what dogs it's closest related to?
I mean, I'd take a guess it would be the other South American canids, so the extinct Warrah, the bush dog, I can't remember, like we've covered it. We actually covered it in a news story once, ages ago. It was photos of that exceedingly rare canid that lives in the Amazon. I can't remember what it's called, like a jungle dog or something like that.
I can't remember what it's called.
But you know which one I mean.
Remember.
I'm sure one of us will put a picture up behind. But yeah, that is. I would guess its closest relatives. It's those South American canids that would have been split from its North American cousins for a little bit of time, but
yeah, a fair chunk of time.
Am I right?
You are correct. Yes, and we'll dive into that now. I do have a pretty cool and probably pretty rare around here at least prop that I can use for this part, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So I mean, to be fair, there is a resemblance for some of the animals that it's named after.
Yeah,
It does have the reddish foxy coat.
definitely.
It does have a bit of a wolfish
Face.
snout, even though it's a
Yeah.
little bit more slender. Yeah, so it's got kind of the slender muzzle and red coat, as I say. But if you look closer at a maned wolf, there is one feature that splits it apart from the true foxes. Do you know what that is?
I mean, other than genetically, no, I don't know.
Have you ever noticed that foxes have elliptical pupils?
Honestly, have never noticed that.
Yeah,
No,
they
no.
have elliptical pupils, and the maned wolf does not.
Ah,
Yeah, so that separates that from it. Analysis from RNA, sorry, and DNA failed to link the maned wolf's genus to any living canid that had at that time been studied. This is going back a bit. This forced researchers to adopt the idea that the maned wolf was the only surviving species of its genus of South American large canids to come out of the late Pleistocene extinction. So for a long time, they were thought to be the remnant species of a much larger group. More recent studies, however, have been able to shed some light onto the familial ties that bind the maned wolf to the rest of its canid king. A study into brain anatomy in the early 2000s drew comparisons to the Warrah, or
yeah.
the Falkland Island wolf, a species that Drew has previously covered.
Yep.
And on that note, what is this?
That appears to be a coin
What ooh,
that you've
I've
dropped.
dropped. What type of coin is it?
Looks like a 50p piece.
50p. Yeah, this is a 50p pence from British currency, or I should say UK currency, or is it? Because
Well, I'm assuming it's a Falkland Islands 50p piece with a Warrah on it.
it is a Falklands Island 50p piece
Wow,
with a Warrah on it.
that's pretty cool.
Which
And
I
it's
will-
from. Oh, it's not got a date. Oh no, 2003.
Yeah. By the way, I've never been to the Falklands Island. I have no idea how we came into possession of that, but we collect 50p coins,
I
and
like
that's
it.
one that we've come across in our time. I'll see if the camera will pick it up,
Well,
because the
we can
Warrah
always
is
put it up
pretty cool.
behind us.
Yeah, I will put it up anyway, but just in case. No, you're not really gonna see it. There you go. That is a Warrah. So yeah, pretty cool little thing there. That's the animal to which it's got its closest relation to, according to
That
this
would make
brain anatomy
sense, I
study.
think.
Yeah, I think so too. This study is also supported by another, this time looking at the DNA, and the findings this time suggested that the Warrah and its mainland variant are its closest relatives. However, they're both extinct. Unfortunately, the study also identified that the three species, the maned wolf and the two Warrah types, Warrah variants, they shared their common ancestor some 7 million years ago. So a little while back. However, the closest relative the maned wolf has still living is oddly the bush dog, as you said.
Ah,
I've been very lucky because I've worked with maned wolves and bush dog, and I can tell you they are incredibly different.
you've only got to get one other, and you've got all the South American canids
That's true.
living.
If you guys know anything about bush dogs and maned wolves, the first thing you're going to think is, how is this elongated?
It's like the opposite ends of the scale.
It is. It really is. You've got this thing with long, slender snout, incredibly long legs. It's actually quite a long animal too, the maned wolf.
Yeah.
And then you crush it, basically like you've just stood on a can. And
Squished it down.
stubby little legs, squished up body, shorter snout, blunter snout, little stubby tail at the end that wangs like this when it's happy and it's trotting along. And that's your bush dog. So two very, very different animals. But yeah, the gangliness compared to the stubbiness is just really quite It would
It's
throw
great.
anyone off that tail. But beyond the living bush dog and their extinct wolf-like relatives, the Maine wolf has more distant kinship with other South American species such as the crab eaters and the thoros. But aside from being a dog, it's not closely related to any of the other dogs spread across the world. There was a time when they thought that bush dogs and the African hunting dog were closely related, which again is a weird combination.
That's a hell of a stretch.
And they thought that the Maine wolf would be in there somewhere too, but it's not.
I can see it now, actually. The Maine wolf stilted over to Africa, and the bush
Yeah.
dog climbed over its back, and then became a hunting dog, and then the bush dogs ran back.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
So at last, let's dive into the oddness of their physical build. These dogs are quite odd, as I say, not least for apparently taking cues from other carnivores. If you imagine a wolf wearing a fox's coat, walking on hyena legs, and the hyena is not even a dog.
Nope.
It's far closer related. In fact, it is part of the cat lineage if you go back. So yeah, just a really random hodgepodge of carnivora animals, basically. The red of the coat is broken only by a darker muzzle, a white kind of collar under its neck, kind of like a like from a tuxedo bib type thing, and a whitish tuft to the end of the tail. The mane on which forms just on the back of the neck over to the kind of the shoulders there. It kind of acts as a threat display, kind of standing on end when they're threatened or when they're threatening another individual. And I would also imagine when they're younger, it probably hides them quite well in the long grasses in much the same way that the long kind of the spiky mane of a baby cheetah would hide that in the savannah. But aside from the odd appearance, for an opportunistic and generalist omnivore, these guys seem to have physiologically specced into some quite unique, specialized build traits. Here you have the tallest species of wild dog, measuring up to 110 centimeters in height. So that's 43 inches. And growing as long as 145 centimeters. So, like I said, quite long. And that is about 57 inches for our American friends. Now, this is undoubtedly an adaptation to its dual lifestyle of hunting in longer grasses in like the savanna kind of areas, but relaxing and resting in the more kind of riparian habitats. So I don't know if you knew that, but they kind of chill out during the hotter parts of the day in riparian habitats where they'll be having to walk through the water. So existing on legs that are essentially stilts would really help with that. It means they don't have to swim, they don't have to kind of wade too much, to just reach in the bottom quite comfortably. And then when they're hunting in the grasses, they're basically stood above the grasses, so they see when little prey is moving, they can see the grass move about too. So handy adaptation for that. It also developed large ears that you may be more accustomed to seeing with bat-eared foxes and fennec foxes.
It does give you that vibe, yeah.
They do move independently, like those they do on those canids too. And this again is quite an obvious adaptation. These guys are that you could kind of loosely define them as crepuscular, but they'll be hunting at night primarily, and they'll be looking for things. Insects like your batted foxes and your fennec foxes, and small mammals like them too. But they'll be looking at night and they'll be using these satellite-like ears to hone in on things that they can't necessarily see. They can just see the movement of.
Do you know what it kind of reminds me of? Is sort of a canid version of a serval.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Actually,
the same sort of
really good.
Same sort of habitat, same sort of hunting style. Apart from, I'm assuming Maine wolves don't try and jump up and grab birds out of the air, but they still hunt things in long grass.
Well, actually,
Oh,
they do. But we'll get on to their hunting in a minute. That's well done. That I never drew the comparison to serval until you said that. But yeah, they are the dog version of the serval. Very cool. Very cool comparison there. Well done. So yeah, its dietary habits. We may as well go into that now. Actually, they're often as with many other animals, it's reflected very well in their dental weaponry. So these guys have kind of extra elongated canines, but they have reduced carnassials and upper incisors. And whilst I couldn't find anything concrete, what I seem to have been able to pick up and what I've kind of inferred from other animals is that these are adaptations to eating much smaller prey and existing on a diet that is much more vegetation oriented. Those longer canines will be able to break into most fruits that they're going to come across. So, as I say, whilst you could loosely define these guys as crepuscular, it's not particularly accurate. They're not governed by light levels. I forget what the actual word is. Photo something.
Photo period.
Photo period. I think that might be the right word. Yeah, they're not actually governed by photo periods. They're actually governed by temperature and humidity.
Oh.
Yeah. They holds much more sway over their activity patterns and light levels and the like. They can often be active the entire day if it's cloudy enough or during colder spells. But generally speaking, they tend to see peak activity between 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then later at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So yeah, that's the times when they're most active. Not necessarily when they'll be hunting though. They are a solitary predator. The main wolf doesn't particularly enjoy the support of pack mates, although they will feed communally when there's a large enough source of food there. Instead, it stands alone in the grasslands from the onset of darkness right up until midnight. And they'll basically be stood there, as I say, rotating their ears, trying to pinpoint the location of their prey. They're listening intently to the slightest rustle, footsteps, squeak, anything like that. And then it will tap the ground with its front legs. Just tap the ground, hoping to basically spook their prey out of wherever it's hiding. And as it runs, pounce on it. Yeah. Now, the killing blow is delivered by a bite to the back of the neck or to the spine along the back, basically severing vertebrae as they do it. And then, failing that, they'll vigorously shake the prey whilst it's in its mouth. Male wolves are also somewhat unique in their reproductive strategy. They form monogamous pairs that spend next to no time together.
Yeah.
Which is an odd one. They do tend to pair up for life, but they don't hang out together apart from during the mating period. Now, the season lasts from November to April, though this is slightly reduced in captive specimens that are found in the northern hemisphere because of photoperiods.
Yeah,
it doesn't
makes sense.
provide enough light. It suggests that the breeding season is dictated by the amount of light during this time of year. This is thought to be due to the effect it has on semen production in the males, obviously. And normally, wolf females will go through estrus once a year, but the presence of a male is suggested to actually be necessary to initiate that estrus cycle. So they need to be near their mate for that to happen. The female is then in estrus for 4 days only, during which time hopefully successful mating will occur and a gestation of 60 to 65 days will begin, ending in the welcoming of up to 6 black-furred and pretty vulnerable pups. They will weigh at most 450 grams, but normally that's 16 ounces, by the way. Normally much less than that. Infant mortality is high, but all being well, the pups are full grown at 12 months of age and ready to go off on their own. They would have been nursed for the first 4 months of their lives, and then up to 10 months of age, they'll be fed on regurgitated food before moving on to learn about the food that they should be eating. They will be following mum from pretty much after they're weaned. They'll be following mum round, trying to work out the foods that they're going to be eating. So during this period, they'll be introduced to all the foodstuffs that they're likely going to eat, such as the infamous tomato-like wolf plant, which makes up the majority of their diet, even up to 90% in some cases. They'll eat this year-round, but they'll add other fruits to their diets during the rainy season. And hear me when I say this, zoo industry, only the rainy season. So wolf fruit the whole year round, other fruits just during the rainy season. It's a bit of a sensitive subject.
I'm assuming you can't grow the wolf tomato.
No,
in the
but
UK.
it has relatives that
Hmm.
that can be used to substitute.
Is it in the Solanum genus? Is it?
Oh,
Which is the
good
tomato
question.
like family?
I believe it is. Give me a second because I have it here somewhere ready to go. Oh, I did. Where's it gone? Wolf apple. Yeah, Solanum.
Yeah,
Solanum lycocarpum.
oh, that literally means wolf apple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah. I knew I had that ready somewhere.
So why is it a sensitive subject then?
Because in my experience working with maned wolves, they are fed far too many high sugar content fruits and far too much meat. And as a result of this, crystallization forms in the bladder and in the urinary tract. It also can cause cancers. And then you have an animal that suffers and eventually has to be put down or dies very painfully. So yeah, like I say, I've been lucky enough to work with a few maned wolves and a few bush dogs, and that the diet has been a bit of a pet, not pet peeve of mine. And this is in no way, um, this is in no way just isolated to the zoos I've worked in. This is actually across the zoo industry across the world. I believe they've started to crack down on this now, and there's actually husbandry guidelines to sort this out. But it was not good. And telling people that we're giving them too much of the wrong fruit and we're feeding them too much meat and not being listened to is incredibly frustrating, especially when it goes down the path that you say it will go down. So yeah, not great. So it's a bit of a sore subject, but an incredible privilege to have worked with them. And like I say, the zoo industry is moving away from that. There are, I do believe, I'm pretty sure there are husbandry guidelines out there for maned wolves now that preach against this. So the majority of the remaining diet is actually mostly vegetation as well, other vegetation. This will include roots, bulbs, tubers, as well as some other fruit and sugarcane. They'll actually eat sugarcane.
I mean, I wouldn't blame them. It's supposed to be quite nice to eat.
Apparently so, yeah. The meats that they will be eating, well, actually, I've got them as recorded eating as up to 178 different prey species. So it's quite a wide.
That's a bit of everything then,
yeah. So this will include birds, reptiles, fish, invertebrates, rodents, rabbits, deer, peccary, eggs. Believe it or not,
peccary's a bit of a push in my mind.
Yeah,
but
it gets more impressive. Giant anteaters have been recorded as eating them.
No, they can kill jaguars.
And yeah, I know. Well, jaguars are one of the things that will kill maned wolves as well. So
is it sort of rock, paper, scissors? Maned wolf, jaguar, anteater.
That's a game that we could play next live stream.
It's going to be very short.
And they've even been recorded as eating bush dogs.
Okay.
So, which again, if you saw a picture of them, you'd think, yeah, okay. But actually, having worked with bush dogs, they are incredibly voracious, incredibly good at defending themselves, and incredibly strong for their size.
Yeah.
So the fact that they can take down bush dog is impressive. Now, I will say that I think, I mean, potentially peccary fine, but giant anteaters, I reckon that is either the young or they're scavenging.
Yeah, I can't see them taking an anteater easily.
Those front
Not without
claws, the strength that they've got,
they're fast as well.
They are, yeah. So yeah, yeah. So that's just my opinion. Okay, that's not. I don't have anything to back that up on. That's just me inferring, like knowing what anteaters are like, I guess. But basically, these prey items will be hunted in a variety of manners. You've got active hunting. You've got kind of ambush pouncing. you got digging, and what you said earlier, they will spook birds and then launch themselves up and grab them, bite them out of the air. So this is just an incredibly impressive animal. I've not even gotten onto symbiotic relationships with other species such as leafcutter ants, which would have been an interesting thing to go down. But in a nutshell, basically, when the Maine wolf is a bit of a gardener of the rainforest. As it goes around eating the vegetation, the fruits, it digests them. When it poos out those seeds. They tend to poo on top of leafcutter ant nests.
Of course.
And
I
then
mean, who doesn't?
Exactly. Well, the leafcutter ants then come out and they use that poo to fertilize their fungal gardens. But at the same time, they kind of discard the seeds that they don't want. But those seeds are now surrounded in obviously quite quite fertile dug up soil.
Yeah.
And so the plants, the germination of the plants is sped up, and it's more successful. And I've not even gotten onto their cultural history for humans or how we feel about them today. For the most part, very positive, which is unlike anything
Humans.
named wolf, really. Usually they are feared. And there's a whole heap of interesting conservation out there from, and really, as I say this out loud, feel like I should have probably concentrated on that a bit more. But I mean, those are 3 really interesting topics to go into for another one in a couple of years' time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is the Maine wolf.
The doggy long legs.
Doggy long legs, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was really cool. Right, well, shall we move on into let's stilt on into our emails for this week.
Let's do it.
Bing! You've got mail. Ooh, it's an email.
Right, well, we're into this week's emails, and we're going to start things off, as we usually do, with last week's question, which was based on the fact that I had a whole bunch of herring gulls in my garden, and this week possibly even a puffin. What wildlife is in your garden at the moment? I mean, you could have taken that literally as you were watching this, or listening to this. But Jen Babs has started things off with, I don't have a garden at the moment, but on my way to do the horses this morning, she then cut the message out and then included a lovely photo of what looks like a tawny owl.
Oh, yeah?
I think that's a tawny owl.
Yeah.
Looks like a tawny owl.
It is.
Sitting there on a fence post, so that's absolutely lovely. Then Nick to Nick, most excited, just yet again, he's showing off, I think. Has put most exciting thing recently on the driveway was an Eastern Bettong. Yeah, he's showing off again with his flipping amazing wildlife that comes to his door.
Didn't give us a photo there, though.
No.
I noticed he didn't give us a photo.
And then he's replied to our comment about saying how amazing that is. I have almost screamed with excitement and scared it away. Which, to be fair, I think if a Bettong turned up on my driveway, I'd be pretty excited.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the next ones?
Okay. Well, the next one comes to us from Spencer Seams. He says similar actually to Jen Babs. I don't have a garden, but in the green space of the complex where I live, we have big brown bats, ground hornets, and cicadas.
Nice.
Yeah. That was literally my response as well. Nice.
It is.
I've typed it there.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's really cool. Then Catherine Ames says here, she sent us a photo. Here is the wild quarter of our back garden a month ago, although the other 3 quarters have the look of a meadow just now too. Behind the blue fence panel is a compost heap, home to more invertebrate species than I could mention. I quite often see speckled wood butterflies, possibly thanks to large areas of unmown Yorkshire fog grass, and she's included the scientific name Ulcus lanatus.
There. It's a nice picture of just a nice bit of garden. Really.
Yeah, nice a wild managed garden. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, Stephen Eddy has chimed in. his garden is enjoying the presence of jays with their fledglings at the moment.
Very nice.
That's really cool. Yeah.
They're one of those birds that are quite hard to spot a lot of the time, but you manage to spot them. I think all the more worth it. And quite often you'll have somebody go, "Is this a parrot?"
Yeah.
Which is just no.
It's because the sound they make.
People,
Isn't it?
I think people in the UK are just not used to seeing brightly coloured birds.
No, that's true.
We're too used to just brown birds, and so when you see a sort of a pinky orange jay with blue and white bits on it,
Yeah.
you're like, that can't be native.
Also, they were not as they've become more common down here, down our neck of the woods.
Yeah,
Over the last 5 years or so than they
definitely.
were before. So that's a good sign.
So the sign of having healthy amounts of oak trees and
Mm.
stuff like that around. So
Yeah.
Well, this week's question is not something I would often go down the route of. I'm not one for cute. Because most people when they say cute do not mean what I mean when I say cute. For me, cute is something like a lovely baby tuatara or a lovely cuddly squid or something a bit odd. You know, most people would not consider what I consider cute. But in this situation, based on the fact that we've got a lovely baby pine cone in Prague, and we've already just gone and looked at how much flights to Prague are.
A baby snow leopard in the Welsh Mountain Zoo too.
Yeah, well, that might be more in our price range, actually.
Yeah.
We could probably do North Wales. Prague seems a little bit more expensive than I anticipated, but who knows? This week's question is, what's the cutest baby animal? Plain and simple. So, Aaron, what would you consider to be the cutest baby animal?
Cutest baby animal.
I mean, you can just go for the obvious and go, yeah, it could be a tiger cub or something like that. And
Tiger cubs and polar bear cubs definitely would be up there. Elephant calves as well.
see, they're all a bit too easy for me.
Yeah, I'm thinking though, possibly the champion of cute baby animals, it might have to be. And unfortunately, this comes at a time where some really bad news has come out recently about the species. I believe that they've only counted 3 to 6 of them in the last year. That's vaquita.
Okay.
Very extremely cute animal in its adult form. It's a type of porpoise. And yeah, it's very cute in its adult form, even cuter as a baby. It basically looks like if they were to do a kind of more life accurate version of a dolphin in Pokemon, the Vaquita porpoise would be it. Yeah, there's something about Vaquita porpoises.
Fair enough. One that you've not covered in the past, but
It is one that I've not covered in the past, and maybe I should do it before it goes. It'd be the cusp because we do.
Wow.
We tend to do like a couple of extant species and then an extinct species each, and maybe that's like right on the cusp. There's not. You can't
That's a
get
depressing
much.
subject there, isn't
You
it?
can't
But
get
yeah.
much less than 3, really.
Well, I'm gonna go with because I think they're so ugly they're cute.
Okay.
Baby parrots. Doesn't matter what it is.
They are
Generally,
cute
because
yeah.
they're just this little ball of either skin or a little bit of fluff, and then just these boggly eyes that are looking at you. Baby birds in general, I think, are far cuter, especially not so much ones like so you've got two types of birds. You've got precocial and artificial. And essentially precocial ones are things like chickens, ducklings, all of the ones that are pretty much able to move there and then the moment they've hatched out the egg and able to do stuff. They're not the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about the artificial birds, the ones that have to sit in the nest and are just absolute balls of fluff and completely unable to do anything without the parents feeding them. So baby parrots, baby toucans and hornbills, they look gangly as anything. I mean, baby kookaburras look like little pterosaurs. There's these little balls of skin with a huge beak on them. That's my idea of cute is these little ugly naked birds just sort of sat there squawking away with boggly eyes.
Birds are a good call. I tend to cast my mind back to when we had ducklings. They were pretty cute. Yeah.
Ah, but you've gone for the cute ones. Yeah, no.
Well, yeah, you say cute, but bear in mind these like 3-day-old ducklings chased a. How old would she have been at that time?
You've written something on the ceiling.
Yeah. These like 3-day-old ducklings would probably chase them around a 6-year-old, 7-year-old cat.
Fair enough.
So little velociraptors chasing this cat that was like 100 times bigger than them.
Well, so you can, dear listeners, tell us, well, what you think is the cutest animal. I mean, I'm sure this is one that people are going to have a say on. I mean, there's obvious answers, I know.
Cutest baby animal.
Yeah. There's obvious answers, but I think there's going to be more fun, less obvious answers. So let us know that on Facebook, where you can post that up, where in fact that will be posted up, and you can let us know what you think. And you can get in contact with us in a variety of other ways as well. And one of those ways is via email. And we've got an email this week.
We have got an email. We've got an email.
Fire up the email machine then.
In fact, our email this week comes to us from one of our glorious, wonderful, exemplary Patreon supporters in the form of Nick to Nick. And he says, "Hey guys, it was great hearing about the partnership between Bonarong and Colossal on your latest episode. Bonarong is who I do wildlife rescues for. And the animals I help will be going to the new hospital.
Nice.
Bonarong is amazing. It's a truly 24/7 wildlife rescue service. And in the roadkill capital of the world, that's
not a title you want."
Sorry, that's the benefit of reading these things as like live, like not preparing them, is that sometimes you're caught off guard. And in the roadkill capital of the world, that's quite an effort. I'm very proud to be a volunteer for Bonarong, and I'm really happy to see their efforts recognised on an international level. I will be doing everything I can to get some kind of role related to the thylacine. It should line up nicely with finishing my degree and gaining experience. Fingers crossed. Keep up the good work. Cheers, Nick. Awesome. So just to remind everybody, last week, one of our articles was about Bonarong and Colossal teaming up. Colossal are the company who are trying to bring back the dodo, the thylacine, and the woolly mammoth. And in fact, they're the umbrella company under which Tiger, which is run by Professor Andrew Pask. Sorry for delaying the email. He works with them to bring back the thylacine, hopefully within the next decade. So yeah, really good to see Colossal and Bonarong teaming up and getting this new wildlife hospital built. The fact that you volunteer for them is amazing, Nick. That's really cool. We're not jealous at all.
No.
In fact, we'd hate that job. No, it's really cool. And yeah, you're volunteering for a company that is a sanctuary that is
doing the good
amazing
things.
So well done. You keep up the good work. Yeah, and hopefully we'll have our fingers crossed for you, but hopefully you get to work with the thylacine on the
off chance you send us some pictures.
Pro quo kind of relationship. We will keep our fingers crossed if you provide us with photos. No, we'll keep our fingers crossed for you, mate. Yeah, good luck.
Well, you can get in contact with us in that exact way through our email, which is thenathistorykcupboard@gmail.com. But you can also get in contact with us in another way, which Aaron is going to tell us about now. I don't know why I'm doing it like that.
That's right, Gareth. Every week we like to give a little love back to our wonderful Patreon supporters by shouting out their names. And these are the cupboard dwellers who are kind enough to support us through a monetary contribution, for which we are grateful beyond words. And these are, of course, Fogtober, Jen Greenhall, Connie P, Chelsea McKee, Nick to Nick, and Justin Knife. Guys, your financial contributions are actively helping us to improve things around here and keep the Natural History Cupboard podcast growing in a myriad of ways. You've seen the studio. There's still a few more bits to do here, but that goes to helping this studio develop. Planning excursions. We went to the Fossil Festival 2024. We plan to go to more trips. We jokingly said about going to Prague, but more.
You never know.
Perhaps not a joke, but
maybe Wales. Maybe North
Wales.
Who knows?
Considering technical upgrades, which will become more evident as we do more live streams, I suppose. Just making this jump from audio only podcast to a YouTube channel to what would be the word, to
reach a
combine
great
with it.
audience.
Yeah,
Greater audience.
So yeah, we really can't thank you enough. Now, we appreciate all of our cupboard dwellers and the support that you offer us through listening, liking, sharing, and subscribing. But if you feel we've earned it and you're thinking of joining our Patreon, you can do so at two different tiers. One is the nature nerds. The other is the animal ambassadors. We'll have more on those at a later date. But for the moment, once again, just thank you very, very much for your support.
Yeah, massive thank you for both of us. And like Aaron said, you can do all of that. You can also get in contact with us in a variety of other ways, because money isn't everything. But you can like, subscribe, ring a bell, pull a rope, I don't know, click a button, do whatever on whatever social media you are listening to us on, watching us on, or just reading about us on. Telling people is a massive part of that as well. The word of mouth really does help to get that message out that we even exist. And of course, you can check out our fantastic T-Mill store as well to get a hold of some of the lovely t-shirts that Drew has designed and yeah, ended up making. So that well, that pretty much brings us to the end of this week's episode, doesn't it? So big thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Gareth.
It's all right. I think it's worked quite well, as always. And a big thank you to you at home for watching or listening. And we'll see you next time here in the Natural History Cupboard. Bye.
Bye. One does not simply become a South American canid without being a little bit strange.